On the evening before the Mother's Day, Nick said to me, "We will give our gift at a certain moment." Okay, so it was day before Mother's Day. So Nick said to Joe, "So we'll give our presentation so on right moment." What moment? I asked. So Joe didn't understand anything. So he questioned, "What moment?" So I can't tell, said Nick, because it has something to do with my gift, and don't ask me again about it. It is a secret. Okay. So even though if you ask, I can't tell anything because it is a secret. So I'll give my gift in a right moment. The next morning, Nick kept close to me, and when mother got ready to wash the floor, he winked at me and we ran to get our gifts. Okay, so it is the day of Mother's Day. As usual, Joe's mother was busy in her household work, so she was ready to wash the floor. So at that time, Nick winked at me. Winked at me means he made a signal through his eyes, and both ran to get their gifts. When I came back, mother was weirdly scrubbing the floor. She was as usual on her knees with a pail of water and a scrubbing brush. She was mopping up the dirty water with old rags. It was a job she hated most. Okay. So when they returned, already their mother started her work. So weirdly scrubbing the floor. So because she hated this work, so with great disappointment she was doing this. She was as usual on her knees with a pail of water and a scrubbing brush. So she kept water in a bucket and scrubbing brush. So she was ready to wash the floor. She was mopping up the dirty water with old rags. So mopping up means a tool for cleaning floors. Okay, so mop means tool, or I think you have seen at your home. So she was ready to clean the floor with water and old rags. So rags means old cloths, small pieces of cloths. It was a job she hated most. So she doesn't like this job. So that's why with great disappointment or great effort she was doing this. Then Nick returned with his present. When mother looked at it, she sat back on her heels. Her face went pale with disappointment as she looked at the new scrub pail with a wringer and a fresh mop in it. Okay. So when Nick returned with his present, his mother looked at it. So she sat back on her heels. So she was on her knees. Now she sat back on her heels and her face went pale with disappointment. Means she was sad. Her face suddenly turned into sad with disappointment as she looked at the new scrub pail. So when she looked at new scrub pail and with a wringer and a fresh mop in it. I think you have seen that Gala product. So we use it to clean the floor, right? So with a wringer, so we need not to dirt our hand. So by the help of that wringer, we squeeze the water from the mop. I hope you have observed it. A scrub pail, she said angrily. A Mother's Day gift of a scrub pail. Okay, so she is in disappointment and she shouted at them, "A scrub pail? Is it your Mother's Day gift?" Because she doesn't like to wash the floor. So that's why she didn't like that gift. Her voice almost broke. Tears came into Nick's eyes. Without a word, he picked up the scrub pail and the mop. Then he ran down the stairs. I put the comb in my pocket and ran after him. Okay, so her voice almost broke. So almost broke means she felt sad because a scrub pail is a Mother's Day gift means she doesn't like it. So at the time she angrily said, and tears came into Nick's eyes. So without a word, he picked up the scrub pail and the mop. So when his mother shouted at him, he picked up the scrub pail and mop and he ran down the stairs. Okay, so by following him, even Joe put his comb in his pocket and he ran after him. Means he followed him. Nick was crying. I felt so bad and I too began to cry. On the way down, we met father. Nick couldn't talk, so I explained. Okay, so it is usual. So whenever, if it is two brothers or two sisters, so if one is crying, so another one automatically started to cry. So here also Nick was crying. So Joe felt bad and he started to cry. So on the way down, they met their father. Okay, so his father inquired, so what happened, why you are crying both? So Nick was not in the situation to explain, so Joe explained what had happened. I'll return it to the shopkeeper, and said Nick, sobbing. Okay, so he was continuously crying and he said, I'll return it to the shopkeeper. Okay, I don't want this, I'll return it. Father took the pail and said firmly, no, it's a fine gift, a wonderful gift. I should have thought it myself. Okay, so here father is trying to console Nick. Okay, so he is trying to calm down the Nick. No, it is a fine gift. Actually, it is very wonderful. I should have thought it myself. Means I should bring this actually, but you brought this. Totally, it is a fine gift. We all went upstairs again. Nick climbed very slowly. Inside the kitchen, mother was still scrubbing slowly and sadly. Okay, so all the three members went upstairs. So Nick climbed very slowly. So he followed his father and brother. So inside the kitchen, so their mother was still scrubbing slowly and sadly. So with great disappointment, she was doing that work. Without a word, father soaked up the puddle of dirty water with the mop. Then using the wringer on the bucket, he neatly squeezed it. So here father is going to explain the use of that scrub pail. Okay, so suddenly he soaked up. Soaked up means a little water, a puddle was there. So he soaked up the puddle of dirty water with the mop. Then he, using the wringer of on the bucket, he neatly squeezed it. So without the help of his hand, so he neatly squeezed that dirty water. You did not let Nick explain himself, he said to mother with a smile. Okay, so here father is also trying to console his wife. If you have given a chance to Nick, he would have explained it. So how it works. Part of his gift was that he himself was going to wash the floor from now. Okay, so why he has brought this? So part of this gift is, so he too going to wash the floor. So by now onwards, he will also joining his hand in your work. He looked at Nick and said, isn't that so, Nick? Okay, so now he is asking, is it right? So Nick, with a flush of shame, Nick understood the lesson. Yes, oh yes, he said in a low tone. Okay, so being an elder son or elder brother, so he should help his mother in her household work. So now he understood the lesson with a flush of shame. So he said, yes, oh yes. So he said in a low tone. Mother was full of regret. She looked at Nick with love and said, it is too heavy work for a 14-year-old boy. So with mother was full of regret. Regret means feeling of repentance. So now she understood what is the use of that scrub pail. So now she felt bad also, and with love she said, so it is too heavy work for 14-year-old boy. So I'll manage myself. So it is a heavy work for Nick. Only now did I realize how smart father was. Ha, he said cleverly. Not with this wonderful scrub pail and the wringer. It's much easier. Your hands stay clean and your knees don't hurt. Okay. So here both the Joe and Nick understood how smart their father was. Okay. So he said cleverly means, so his father said cleverly how to use that scrub pail. So by now onwards your hands will not be dirty and your knees don't get hurt. Okay. So in a soft tone he made understood this to his wife. And then father demonstrated quickly. So demonstrated means show by doing how something works. So he demonstrated it. So he showed how it works. Mother looked lovingly at Nick and said, how stupid a woman can be. She kissed Nick and he felt better. Then they turned to me. Okay, so now mother, so she looked lovingly at Nick and she said, so how stupid I was. Okay, sorry. And she kissed Nick and now both felt better. Even Nick also felt better. So then they turned towards me. Okay, so now it's my turn to give something to my mother. So everybody turned towards me. What is your gift? Father asked. Okay, what is your gift? What you are going to give your mother? So Nick looked at me and turned pale. Okay, so Nick turned towards Joe and he turned pale. Okay, if he gave that comb, so of course that scrub pail would be dull in front of that shiny comb. So he knew that my gift was a comb with shining stones and looked like diamonds. It would make the scrub pail again just a scrub pail. Okay, so now Nick understood. So if he gives that comb, so my scrub pail would be a scrub pail, means it will be dull in front of the comb. Yes, Joe, what is your gift? Mother asked eagerly. So now she was eager to see Joe's gift. So even she asked, so what is your gift? Give me. Half the scrub pail, I said sadly. So half the scrub pail. Even I gave a small amount to scrub pail. Nick looked at me with love in his eyes. So here Joe understood the situation and Joe had never given that comb to his mother, because if he had given that, so that scrub pail would be dull in front of the comb. So he understood the situation. So now Nick was very happy and he loved his brother very much. So this is the story of half a gift. Hope you have understood. Thank you. We'll meet you in the next class.